for more programs going forward. As I've been talking, and we'll talk to all the regions and the DVMs, I would categorize organizations in probably one of three places. There are some regions and organizations that have high understanding and implementation of the programs. There are some that are solid, and there are some that just, again, this call is designed to bring everyone into, hey, here's what exists out there, so that by the end of this call, as Lloyd mentioned, you can say, hey, this is what's available to me. I'm already doing this, but that provides clarity, or I'm not doing that. And this is something that I can easily implement or help my organization implement within the next couple weeks. A little bit of a teaser. The last two sentences I will wrap up my time here today with, once again, should create some clarity on the Renaissance project. There's been several times I've heard people say it's cryptic, it's veiled, like, hey, what are you guys up to? This has been a very methodical process. So you will begin now to see, and we've got Damien here, and maybe Danny's still on the call. We have individuals highly tied into the Renaissance project. They're going to be pursuing and exploring the next layer of rep success pursuits. Lloyd, I'm assuming I can screen share here. Should be pretty easy. That appears to be the case. My guess is, are we just, if I can get a thumbs up, are we just seeing a rep success gray background here? Okay, perfect. So again, this should, you can screenshot this. I'm going to send this to Lloyd so that you can have this as a slide deck. And I've got a couple follow-up documents as well as video that can be resources for everyone going forward. What I want to start about 60 seconds to 2 minutes of teeing up my objectives. I've been tracking average orders of the fast start. It's a metric that I really like. Why do I like average orders in the fast start? To me, I consider it a saber metric or an advanced analytic. It's a simple number. It's an easy number to look at, but to me, it speaks not only to an organization's rep success, but it also speaks to rep activity level. So when I'm seeing this number, it helps me understand how many reps are out there just doing demos and just getting sales. The reason why, we've mentioned this quite a few times, we've had a high water mark of 4 average orders in the fast start back in 2004. So immediately that tells me, and it signifies to the organization, that there's an opportunity gap right off the jump. I would consider 3 as somewhat of a roof shot. If I were to sum up the last 6 years, the influences we've had are COVID. We've had a little bit of a bump and then a bust fairly quickly. But you even heard Mike Muriel say this in his SLC windup, and this number's been referenced a few times. I think Mike almost threw the gauntlet out there and he said, hey, 3 is our roof shot. 3 next year for 2006 would be something that I think is a number that we can all shoot for. As reference within the division, within the region, that's where everyone currently sits. Last year, or actually summer of 2025, campaign 2, our best divisions are between 3.5 and 4.5 that exist right now, currently average orders in the fast start. If it is below that, again, that would be the rallying call of what are things that we can do to begin to move the entire organization. My goal is aggregates. My goal is, how do we get our whole company back to 4? What happens if it's at 5? And man, we have a whole new vector if it's at 6. In my opinion, I think targeted recruiting, because I don't want to lose sight of that. Targeted recruiting and rep success are the 2 as high leverage opportunities that every manager has going in front of you. In fact, so much to the point, I've heard multiple organizations almost say, my method of rep success is just targeted recruiting. So I don't want to lose sight of that. You can easily change that number if you're focused on the right recruits. From a rep success standpoint, that's my baton to carry. So when I was talking to Lloyd, I actually just talked to Scott Dennis about this. The idea is it's not an either or. It's targeted recruiting and concentrating on rep success opportunities. For those of you that have been around for a while, Lloyd, you know this. There was an old vector question or adage from a rep standpoint. Sometimes they would ask, what is the best close? Is it the power close? Is it the Ben Franklin close? And the answer to that, whether this was a Jerry Odison or Marty Dimitrovitz, was always, the best close is a good prospect. I fully agree. The analogy would be the best training is a good recruit, but that doesn't mean that we shouldn't also have great training to accompany the great recruit, just like we always wanted to strive for a great demo to accompany a great representative. So rep success from a Renaissance project standpoint, our goal has been to attempt to make movement in the rep success area of the business. That's allowing me to somewhat set the stage for this. As far as Renaissance project initiatives, we operated based on a couple philosophies that as technology and society change, so do the pressures applied to certain programs, requiring new programs, proficiencies, and skill sets. Analog programs, meaning things we did back in the day. That's what I mean by analog, just what we used to do. They can feel easy and comfortable, and it's easy to rely on old programs. But old programs are often limited, they can become obsolete. Digital programs, on the flip side, they can feel uncomfortable because they're new. But new programs can also provide ways through friction and offer increased functionality and scalability. Our pursuit with the Renaissance Project has been to raise awareness and to pursue initiatives primarily for the past 2 years has been very simple. It's additional methods of prospect outreach. We've really gone after this concept of the great ignore. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this because the meat and potatoes are right up next. The great ignore, we all know this, has been something that we've been looking at for about 5 years. This is not new to anybody, so I'm not going to spend a ton of time on it. It's in essence the movement of society towards different means of communication, away from making phone calls towards texting. Those things can apply downward pressures on rep activity. Spam calls, text calls, the inundation of that can make getting appointments more challenging. So the idea of the great ignore is what are things that we can do that can help with sales rep activity level and mitigate some of these downward pressures. So Lloyd, I think you mentioned 4. I've got 5. So what the Renaissance Project did the last couple years, it's simple, you guys. I want to make this very clear. Texting was never meant, and it is not going to revolutionize your productivity. Texting was always designed simply to offer a new way for a representative to outreach to a prospect. It is to mitigate what's happening in society with respects to phone calls. And it's also to lay the foundation for the next wave of pursuits. So if I'm talking to a manager and they're saying, yeah, we do versions of this, we're fully bought into this, that's a good sign to me that they have an understanding of how these new pursuits can layer into what's coming next. So we've had the heads up text, we've had the post call text, we've had 3-way texting. I do want to talk for a few minutes about the potential that rep conviction has become deprioritized in training. And the final one being, what is the Shop Now portal? How can I use it and the way I can benefit from it? So what I'm going to do now is dig into these with much more specificity. The way I'm going to approach this is here's what this program is from a basic standpoint, what is the objective, and what does the basic implementation look like? Heads up texting, basic benefits. One word, you guys, familiarity. We are looking to create familiarity between the rep and the prospect. That's all the heads up text does. What I have heard from managers, a lot of them that are using it, they speak to activity and momentum before the phone jam. You guys all remember sometimes what it likes, the inertia when you first kick off the phone jam. Hey, you guys, let's go. Let's make our first phone calls. Sometimes it's crickets. Sometimes it's reps are stressed out. For those that have been leveraging heads up text, there's the impression that there's some momentum before those first calls happen. It's, oh, I've already texted so-and-so and they've responded. They've said to go ahead and get a call. They've said to go ahead and call me later. This is providing confidence for the rep, and it's a familiar method of communication. What we're looking to do is we're meeting not only the rep and the prospect with where they are, which is a communication method that now everyone has strong familiarity with. So that is the whole goal of the heads up texting. Basic implementation is fairly simple. A heads up text is sent 15 to 20 minutes prior to the phone jam. The rep in the Vector Impact app sends the pre-call text snippet. These are all preloaded text that can be sent directly from that app, Vector Impact, directly to the prospect. They can be changed. I would highly encourage you that you don't get super creative. If you don't like a word here or there, they can be changed, but for the most part, that preloaded Vector Impact snippet, they're all very good, and that's what our people are doing. Here's what it says. It's fairly simple. Hey, Uncle Lloyd, this is your nephew, Jason. I have a quick favor to ask and was hoping you might be able to help me out. I'm just going to give you a quick call in about 15 minutes. It's just going to take a few minutes. If another time works better, just let me know. As simple as that text sounds, it has 2 very strategic purposes. In my opinion, I don't think people mind talking on the phone if three things exist. They want to know who you are, they want to know how long it's going to take, and they want to know generally what is concerning. If those three things are in place, I think people don't mind talking on the phone. It's the uncertainty, it's the call out of the blue, it's the man, I don't have 45 minutes. It's quick, it's easy, and here's basically what I'm looking for. The second component to this text messaging, we designed them all to be open-ended, meaning old text messages used to say this, Uncle Drew, hey, can you help me out? Crickets, right? Or Uncle Drew, do you have some time available? That's a close-ended method of communication. That creates inertia because now the sales rep has to wait for that person. All of these texts are open-ended, meaning even if Uncle Drew does not respond, I've already teed it up that I'm going to call you later anyway, if that makes sense. Heads up text, that's how to implement it, fairly basic. What needs to come into play is one additional step, which is creating expectations for the sales representative, which is this simple sentence. Hey, you guys, when you send out a heads up text, you're going to get a few possible responses. Here's what's going to happen. They might just call you right away. So you might just get a phone call from them. Don't answer the call as they're calling you, just text you, hey, I'll call you in 15. That's a positive sign. They're going to be one of the first people you contact when we start the phone jam. Second thing they could happen, they could say, hey, I'm super busy right now. I'm at work or I'm in the car. Can I call you later at 6:30? Or can you call me later after 6:30? Whatever the case may be. Another positive, that representative checks that person. I'm going to call them later, maybe for the evening phone jam. Sounds good. Talk to you later. Third thing that can happen, they say, sounds good. Talk to you soon. Super easy. Hey, Jason, sounds good. We'll talk to you in a few minutes. That just becomes one of their first calls in the phone jam. So now you as the manager, when you say, hey, all right, you guys, let's go. Start making your first calls. Some of these reps already have people that are teed up waiting for a phone call. If there is no reply, this is important. This is not a big deal. Explain how this is common for adults. This is not how, with my daughter's 18, this is not how when the 18-year-old is left on red by their friends. They stress out, they think their friend doesn't like them. Adults not immediately texting someone back is not the same. So give them that understanding that, hey, you guys, when an adult doesn't text back right away, they could be at work, they could be in a car, and think of how many times we get a text and we're busy and we think to ourselves, we're just going to call, I'll just call that person back later. Sometimes we even forget. The idea is we call them even if there is no reply from the text message. Heads up text, basic implementation. It tees up the phone jam, creates familiarity, and it meets the prospect with where they're at versus an out of the blue phone call. That's number one. Number two, the post call text is probably simpler. This is going to create familiarity with, hey, who's calling me? We all get these all day long. We get the phone calls from people that we have no chance of answering. I rarely answer any of my phone calls. In fact, another part of the great ignore, and all you guys are aware of this, so this isn't anything new, because of the inundations of text messages and spams and spam calls, almost all platforms and cell phones have AI answering your screening systems. So they are directed to their AI phone screening if any call comes in or text comes in that they don't recognize. It might not be far-fetched to say pretty soon in the not too distant future, no one's really going to answer their phones. Just going to have an AI assistant. That's what they call them nowadays. It's an AI assistant to handle all the incoming calls that they don't know. Basically, the AI assistant says, "Who are you and what do you want?" So this assuages that issue of, "Hey, who's calling me? It's my niece. It's my nephew. Oh, I just don't have your number in my phone. Perfect." So instead of just keep calling, we've attempted to evolve the organization away from just keep calling, call the heck out of them, smile and dial, just keep going. That is a that is not desirable for the rep. It's not desirable for the prospect. Our goal with texting, once again, it's not going to change your business. The goal with texting is also to create a long-term perception of the position that I can see myself doing this for a long period of time. We don't want sales reps thinking about the position in days or a couple weeks. We want them having booked schedules for a long period of time. So this is a retention and development tool that we're speaking to the sales rep and we're speaking to the prospect. Basic implementation of the post-call text. Again, this is if I call Uncle Drew there, Uncle Drew doesn't answer. It's simply that text message of, "Hey, Uncle Drew, this is Jason. I have a quick question for you. Are you available?" Once again, if not, I'm just going to try again later. We're attempting to simply create familiarity and let that person know who's trying to call. This again is in the post-call snippet of the Vector Impact app. It's preloaded and ready to fire off. Number three, the three-way text. Before I get into this, if this makes your head hurt, that's fine. There is more to the three-way text than what I just covered with number one and number two. Damien, I'm glad you guys have him in your region. He's been absolutely excellent in our Renaissance project now for several years, and he's about as good as you have in the company with respects to three-way texting. He does it in training. I actually have Damien's 17-minute link of how he covers three-way texting in training. Hope it hasn't changed too much, Damien. But some managers have decided to cover this post-training because it is extra time and some of your trainings are packed with a lot of stuff. So they're covering it maybe at advanced training, maybe workshops, maybe PCs. You kind of get my point. Three-way texting, here's the benefit. Using my Cutco Rep and the Vector Impact app, we are seeing more referrals. About 60% of people through the My Cutco Rep app give leads, and they average 9. That's better than the pen and paper analog version of getting leads. Kevin Hanna tracked that, and Fred Glazer tracked that through the interactive demo. Um, Also, here's what's unique. For those of you that are using the Vector Impact app, anytime prospects are loaded, whether that's from a customer or just from the practice list, it gets identified as a Cutco owner if it matches the database. You guys all know that, right? So a little knife shows up next to anyone who owns Cutco. I just talked to Nick Leindeck. We spent about an hour on the phone last week. He's again someone who implements these strategies with great success. I know all of you follow the national report. This isn't because of these programs specifically. Leindecker just had a $30,000 new business week, followed up with a $40,000 new business week. Just did 70K new business the last 2 weeks. But he actually does about a 7 or 8 minute. I just grabbed his training because I'm going to watch it all in detail and full. He does about a 7 or 8 minute promotion after the sales reps log their prospects of how many people already own Cutco. He says, "Hey, Damien's got 7. Let's see, Brian's got 10. And by the way, I saw 10 people in training. The lowest had 7 Cutco owners. The most had 21. We know with absolute certainty the Cutco owner buys at about 55 to 60% sales ratio versus about a 40% sales ratio for the non-Cutco owner. So he's leaning into this Vector Impact, identifying Cutco owners and launching a sales rep into the most frictionless opportunity possible. Not that you have to start with Cutco owners, but again, these are some of the benefits of these newer technologies. There are also a lot of people that I want to talk about this idea of an invisible village. This is really important. Invisible village is basically the fact that a lot of people know reps that they don't know. I'll use my daughter as an example. When I was speaking to a lot of you guys at SLC, almost none of you know my daughter personally. About 90% of you said, "Jason, how you been? How's Addie? Is she playing ball in college?" Because you've seen a few things on Facebook. There's an inherent care for my daughter and what she's up to just because she's my daughter. There's dozens of people that know my daughter that love her, care about her, and would help her in anything she does, even if she doesn't know her. So the idea is, how do we tap into that invisible village of people that would do almost anything for my daughter that she doesn't immediately know? The three-way texting leverages those relationships and again impacts retention. Here's the basic implementation of the three-way text. The customer, and this is instructed from the sales rep instructs the customer to download the My Cutco Rep app. I believe on the interactive demo, it's done to start the demo, or it can be done at the end of the presentation. They have the customer check OK to share contacts. The customer checks off basically, "Hey, anyone you know nice enough to see me or help me out?" The customer then shares contacts. That goes right into the Vector Impact app. Rep has them then click introduce. So the comment, and I have this loaded for you on the next slide here. So, "Hey, Mrs. Jones, the way you can really help me out is if you introduce me to a few of these people, it makes things a lot easier for me. If you click that introduce button next to a couple of those people, and if you do that through the app, it preloads the three-way introduction text." I believe Damien in training, if I remember correctly, does something to the effect of at least do two. If you can get customer to do two forwarded three-way texts, some managers shoot for more. Some managers shoot for, hey, if you can do 10 of those, great. I could have that wrong, Damien, so I apologize if I do, but I seem to remember that. Or your comment is to the effect of, hey guys, if you at least do two and one of those person in essence give you a demo, you replace your demo with every demo that you do. But again, Damien is probably one of the best we have in the company on doing this. I'm not going to go through this, going to make your eyes hurt. I have a resource that I'm going to, again, send you an email. And this is, I believe this is Miser. Damien might have something similar, but this can help you get an idea of what this looked like if it's in the training manual. Step one, how to ask for reps. Step two, what does it mean to get sponsors? I'm not sure if this is a regional program, but in essence, it's if you give me 10 referrals, I can make you a sponsor. If you give me 20, I can consider you a double sponsor, etc. They use heads up text. In essence, that's interchangeable with three-way text. So how to initiate that three-way text, then how to qualify leads, and finally the follow-up. The follow-up, so again, Mrs. Jones sends out 4 three-way or heads up text. Also, Mrs. Jones, thanks. Out in the car as a representative, I'm gonna send Damien. I'm gonna jump into that three-way text. Hey, Damien, it's Jason. Just want to say hi. It's great meeting you. Now, Damien, as the referral, and my customer I just saw are looped into a three-way text. Now I'm going to create an expectation for the sales representative. One of a couple things are going to happen. You're going to get a positive response for the next time to call. So someone's going to say, Damien's going to say, yeah, Jason, yeah, it's great meeting you. I've actually heard of Cutco. Give me a call when you get a chance. Or you're going to get Jason, yeah, tell you what, I'd love to help you out. I'm busy till about 6. Give me a call later. Again, we're creating these positive ways to be reaching out to people. Second thing that could happen is a not interested. This is actually fine. If someone says, hey, you know what, I've got Cutco and I've got a Cutco sales rep already, and I'm super busy. It's great meeting you as well, but not interested. Here's the reply. Damien, tell you what, no worries. Great meeting you as well. What we have some people do is sending a link to the rep portal. Tell you what, if you ever do want to see me, you can schedule right into my calendar. Or if you just want to buy some Cutco, you can go directly to my personal link. But, you know, it's great meeting you. Thanks, and I appreciate it. No harm. Third thing is they don't respond at all. Here's what's important to understand. And by the way, if somebody says they're not interested, it's actually making reps feel better that they're not contacting and annoying people who aren't even interested. So if a sales rep gets a, hey, I'm really busy for the next couple of days, now the sales rep knows they're not contacting people who don't have interest. If there is no response, just like we did for training and the heads up text, you're letting your sales rep know this is an introduction text. We're not actually asking for any sort of reply. So it's super common if that introductory three-way text goes out with nothing coming back. It's not indicative of interest. So we're still going to reach out to that person at some point in time. What I have for everyone, and I'll include this link in my email to Lloyd at some point in time after the call is concluded. Damien does have a 17-minute video. If you want to see how he explains that, there's the link to that. And again, Damien, if you've radically changed that in the last 6 to 12 months, but this gives someone a real good idea of if I'm not doing this at all, here's how it's being done in training. So that is three-way texting. Number 4, again, I've got 5 things to cover for you today. Number 4, this idea of product conviction in training. It is my contention that it is possible that product conviction could have been deprioritized in the last several years. If it has been deprioritized, I have 3 reasons why it could have happened. Number 1, training has now become designed to perpetuate recruiting, and it's fine. I already talked about this. Training, a good portion of that is to set the stage for the next layer of recruits. So a lot of time and energy goes into that. That could have deprioritized Cutco. Second thing is your guys' trainings are jam-packed. So I get it with calling and PR collection and going through new technologies like the Vector Impact app and the My Cutco Rep app and going through three-way texting or just administrative stuff. Timing has been tight for trainings. The third thing that could be is COVID. COVID simply fostered an environment where we almost told the organization, guys, look how good we are. We don't even need to show Cutco to sell it. And there might be residue of that of, you guys, we can sell Cutco without the sales rep believing in it or the customer even seeing it. So that's a possibility. So my recommendation has been to the regions and to the division teams. Could it be possible for you to employ a product conviction in training audit? In essence, you're asking yourself this question: where, and maybe you're doing it internally, maybe you're doing it on a division call. The question is, where in training, you guys, do we create conviction in the product, pride in the company, and confidence in the presentation? Where are those things happening? My contention would be, I think, and we still could be, Lloyd, I think that we were excellent, and maybe we still are excellent at this. But if a sales rep believes in the product, if they have pride in the company, if they believe in their presentation, they will open up their network. They'll be wanting to see more people. They'll have pride in showing the presentation to more people, and they'll have more confidence they can conduct a good presentation. So this is what it kind of looked like for me internally. I went through all my years of talking to all you guys and running trainings myself. And whether this is a conclusive list or a completely missing a lot of things, the questions would be, again, how many times are reps seeing a demo before the end of training? What do stop buys look like? Are those still happening? Is there a nice Cutco display, assuming people are running in-person training? Are they cutting rope and leather when they walk in? Are they we doing food cutting clinics at some point in time? Are you leveraging Cutco.com video assets? I just went on this last night because I was curious. There's great videos on there. There's really good customer testimonials. There's good names and uses where people are using the product, well-produced videos. There's Cutco advocates on there, chefs who like Cutco. Are you using vectormarketing.com video assets? There's Cutco in the news. So where does Cutco, where can we see Cutco in pop culture and social culture today? I've seen a bunch of videos of event testimonials. You might have these local to your region, local to your area. So are you showing times you've been at an event and you've got 15 customers in the local area talk about how much they love Cutco, they just bought more, so on and so forth? Are you proficient at the art of telling stories? I think one way that managers really do a good job of building confidence is just the way you tell stories. Hey, and Lloyd is as good as it gets at telling stories. I bet you Lloyd's training, I don't know, maybe not, but I bet you he was great at just telling really good stories. Hey guys, let me tell you the first time I sold my first homemaker. Never thought they would buy. It was, you guys get the point. There's a lot of ways that you can create confidence. You can get on the same level of the sales representative when you use a flashback. When you talk about, hey, let me tell you about when this happened with me. You're not the guy in the suit. You're not the lady in the business attire. You become their sales representative when you tell the past story. So strong welcome talk, personal story in the welcome talk, the value section. Are they leaving the value section loving Cutco? I'm in like, man, I got to get this into people's hands. Finally, are you using product for contest? And this is, again, I just talked to Nick Leindecker a couple days ago on this. It just sparked food for thought. He gives a red table knife. This isn't the answer to a $70,000 in new business for the last 2 weeks, but he gives a red table knife for anyone who makes a sale to a Cutco owner. The reason why I put that on this slide is my question to you is, when you give away Cutco as an incentive or a contest, are they fired up? So for those of you that have been around in the Southwest region has excellent tenured managers on this call right now. You remember, maybe you still do, when we used to, well, they probably don't have leather Cutco sheaths, but man, we could get a rep to do almost anything for a leather Cutco sheath. So we could fire up a sales rep with a contest because by the time we gave that contest, in their mind, it was, man, dude, Cutco is legit. I want that red table knife. I want that stainless steel table knife. I want whatever the case may be. So what does product look like from a conviction standpoint in your training seminar? Finally, my point number 5. What is the Shop Now portal? How can I use it? How can I leverage it? Basic objectives of the Shop Now portal, very simple, additive sales. It is also, once again, a desirable perk. So it is a retention development tool. And I'll talk about this, but I would be leveraging this in the interview at some point in time. Basic implementation strategy that we have right now, promote early and often. I think, Drew, you're pretty familiar with this. Wes as well. Last year, it was a proof of concept. we basically said, okay, here's the tool. Reps will have a My Cutco Rep app, Shop Now portal. So we took about 6 managers, we made their divisions live. We just said, hey, let's just go see what happens. I think Jake Miser was our shining star. Jake, I think last year for about a couple month time frame, produced about 25,000 in sales. The total aggregate last year was 232 orders, $42,000 in sales. I spent, I think it was, I talked to all the region managers somewhat going into last summer, and I said, I think there's a couple $100 regionally just sitting out there for sales reps to scoop up. In 2025, all we did was made it available to all reps. Very little promotion. In fact, we're basically doing backhanded promotion. We're basically saying we're accidentally creating additive Cutco sales or additional Cutco sales. 1,600 orders, $310,000 in CPO. We have about a $200 average order, but only about 4% of reps have a portal sale. Southwest region, Lloyd, you and I talked about this. You're right in that ballpark too. Somewhere around that 4% of reps will use the portal or had a portal sale. Average order, most regions are between that 200 to 350. Percentage of portal sales is between that 4% to 6%. But again, I think there's a couple $100,000 in portal sales per region in 2026. If it's even promoted on a level 4 or 5 out of 10, that would be my contention simply on that. Here would be, I guess, my best shot at what does it look like to promote the rep portal in the interview. Once again, you're creating a position that's desirable. You're creating something where sales rep goes, man, that's pretty sweet. In training, again, after the My Cutco Rep app, TVI app, Rep Portal, you're introducing what this looks like, how they can leverage it. Maybe if you don't have time in training, it's team meetings, it's workshops, it's PCs. We have reps right now sending out thank yous, even if they don't get a no sale or if they get a sale. Hey, thanks, Uncle Lloyd. Really appreciate you. By the way, here's my individual rep portal. If you ever want to schedule another appointment or just if you just see something you want to buy, I'm going to send this out to you. Reach out to past customers. There was about 120. We spiked in end of July and early August in portal sales. We did over 100 grand because this was actually done fairly well. There was a lot of promotion for the SE2 pushes to send out portal links. So maybe it's leveraging holidays, it's leveraging push weeks, going back to school. You can reach out to past reps. You know, any rep over $3,000 gets some sort of message or email. Hey, by the way, if you ever thought about getting back into selling, layoffs are going to be massive. AI is going to, I don't want to say absolutely destroy some positions, but if you guys that are following current events, AI is probably going to really dig into entry level positions. There's going to be hundreds of thousands, if not more, over the next several years of people in entry level positions that might be out of work. I mean, I've had a bunch of people that went away to school, my daughter's friends, that are like, yeah, I went into computer programming. There are no more entry level computer programming positions. That computer program entry level can be done by AI at this point in time. I took a tangent. Apologize, Lloyd. My point is there could be a lot of reps, past reps that are out there going, yeah, I could actually get back into selling some Cutco. And you introduce a link as a way to get them back into it. You get my point there. A frequent customer who simply says, Jason, I love you. But I bought Cutco a handful of times. I've seen 6 demos. I could give you a demo, to be quite honest with you. Tell you what, I do need some more Cutco. I just say, hey, tell you what, Uncle Lloyd, I'm going to send you a link. I'm going to give you some things that probably pique your interest. I know you have this, that, and the other. You've always talked about getting this. If you just want to place a sale, feel free. I get full commission and full credit for it. So I appreciate it, Uncle Lloyd. Finally, what would an exit interview look like if, and Lloyd, I think you've spoken to this. There was a generation of Cutco manager where the exit interview was extremely well done. And I'm not saying it doesn't exist today, but the rep on the way out the door, it's, hey, Wes, hey, I really appreciate you being on the team. I hope you learned some things. I hope you learned being with, learn some things and appreciated being with us as well. I wish you all the best on your future endeavors. Tell you what, you've got 6 Cutco people that you haven't actually even shown the product to. You can send them a link and maybe grab a couple extra sales on your way out. So we've even explored what an exit interview could look like, and could we? Maybe Wes says, you know what, Jason, I love you. It's been great being on the team, but I'm so busy. Could we collect all of those? I mean, do we have access to all of those? So could we create some sort of database of reps on the way out, give us authorization to say, tell you what, have so-and-so on the team reach out for me. A little bit of a side tangent. I just want to give you an idea and a perspective of, as a Renaissance group, the things we're trying to layer into the rep experience, again, to just increase activity and make this long-term thinking. This is probably better for the screenshot. Again, this is just some verbiage of how, if I'm a manager and I want to begin promoting it, how can I leverage it in the interview? How can I begin to leverage it in training? These are not any words of wisdom. I might have grabbed this off of Lindsay Paulno, who's been using this as well. You can screenshot it. But the idea would be, if this is something that you want to begin promoting, there's easy sales out there to scrape up. I will conclude with this, Lloyd. I'll take off screen share and then we can get to questions. Here would be my final wrap up. 60 seconds on this. We have 14 managers right now, again, pursuing the next layers of rep success. And I've heard some people say, well, what's the Renaissance Project up to? What are you guys doing? Here's the idea. It's obviously to make some simple inroads to things like text messaging, three-way texting, but it's really to lay the foundation for the next level of pursuits. Jeff Kunkel and I have been talking about this for a lot of years. If it's up to us, a sales rep will never make a phone call ever again. And I don't think that's futuristic, like 5 years down the road. I don't think it's next summer, but other than, if I'm a manager, hey, if you want to call the 5 people in your closest network, mom and dad, favorite aunt and uncle, grandma, grandpa, or if there's people that have absolutely said to you, yes, call me, I don't want you fumbling around in essence, cold calling people anymore. The new rep pursuit will be that on a week in and week out basis, their schedules are being filled with good prospects and appointments. And again, the Renaissance pursuit, they are now just tackling that. So we are in early stages of what does it look like for a representative to have week in and week out presentations filled to the level that they would like, or to, at a minimum, lessen the friction of, hey, if you really want to be successful with us, hammer the phones. So that is sort of, it was a little bit of a tease when I started the call, but I just want to make sure that the understanding around the Renaissance Project has been slight of a slow roll, but these next pursuits are ultimately going to pursue a rep position where we want abundance, we want high success, and we want something that creates retention and development. And they're layered into each of your organizations many years down the road. That might have been exactly 30 minutes. So Lloyd, what I would do now, and again, I will send you this slide deck. It was different than the one you and I covered, if you noticed. The one you and I covered was pretty much for the RMs. This is much more tailored to, hey, I don't do this, but I'm interested. Let me go back and look at that. I'm going to send a couple of the documents, Damien's video, and that should prop you up to do one of two things. You're either saying I'm good where I'm at, or yeah, I could probably see myself or my organization doing this, and here are the resources to follow up on that. Lloyd, over to you.
Yeah, thank you. That's excellent. Can you send that to Elijah Bray? All those documents, can you send it to Elijah Bray? He can get it out to everybody in a more efficient manner. So it should be great.
The only thing I might not have is his contact, but I'm sure it could be easy to get.
E Bray at Cutco.
It is indeed easy to get.
Yeah, cool. Excellent. Any quick questions for Jason, guys? Thank you, Jason. I did give these guys kind of a hard stop here at 12:30. So if there's anything that they want to stick around for and ask, I mean, I know you had a couple extra minutes, and I have another call that I'm going to be jumping off to here in just a moment. But any questions for Jason? And if somebody has to leave, great. We'll continue to record if you want to listen to it later.
And really quickly, I would be happy to have one-on-one calls and dig into this in more detail, and or if you want to plug me into any sort of district team calls that you'd like me to cover this as well too, I'd be happy to do that, because I know it's a lot.
It is a lot, but it's fairly simple, and it's easy to custom choose what you want to implement and what order and what you think could be beneficial. So I think that's the key here, Jason. You've given them good resources. Elijah, can I also ask that you cut and paste this out of, as a separate document? Don't remove it from our call, but take it as make a package that you can send out to the guys with all the scripts and notes and the videos together. So that'll be easy for them to use and implement. Excellent. Any questions, thoughts for Jason? Anything else?
Jason, real quick, I think, okay, I'm muted. Damien brought this up about the texting in training, the heads up texting, that having, if you have 8, 10, 12, 15, 20 people in training, and having them all sit there and do that can take significant amount of time. Are the guys who are doing this, are they adding like an extra 30 minutes to their training? Do you have any idea of that?
Here's my suggestion. And the reason why we want people beginning, if they haven't done so, to start rolling up their sleeves on this, because there is not a one size fits all. We have some managers that do everything but the heads up text, but they're leaning into the post call text. If it's
Okay.
a smaller training group, they're doing the heads up text and it's easy to manage. I have some managers who, at least one that's still virtual, doesn't do it because it's harder to manage virtually. Not that a lot of people are doing it virtually. So my answer to that would be is I would begin to start using this in training to see how it fits in to helping sales reps create familiarity. Well, or you're just using the post call text. That's become kind of one or the other. They're either using a heads up text, but if not, they're at least using, I think you use the post call text.
Perfect. That was my very next question so if you're doing a pre-text, I'm assuming you're not doing a post-text because that seems a little bit odd to go, hey Drew, I'm gonna call you. Hey
Correct.
Drew, you didn't answer. I'm gonna call you.
Yeah.
So that's okay, cool. Perfect.
Yep. You kind of led the way on the post call text about a year ago. And then we actually came up with the heads up text as another option as well.
But Jason, I think to answer the overall question is, would you suggest about a 30-minute time window if you're going to have a big class and you've got a lot of people in? I'm thinking about a January class where you've got, instead of having the typical 3, 4, 5, you've got 15, 20 plus. In that situation, you probably should maybe strategically put in an extra 30 minutes if you want to implement some of these things because you'll have a larger group.
Yeah, I mean, well, here's what I would say. The explanation of it takes the exact same amount of time, despite how many people are in the training. To your point, Lloyd, though, I wouldn't go past the 30 minutes because I think if it's too far out, it then becomes distracting because they're getting these text messages. They're saying, hey, give me a call like an hour away from the phone jam. So I agree with you, Lloyd. If someone feels more comfortable putting 25 minutes prior to the phone jam kicking off, we've just the 15 or 20 is about where we've settled into. I think 25 to maybe 30 is fine if it gives someone a little bit more peace of mind to pull it off in the appropriate time frame.
And then my other question is not to try to commandeer everything here, but the question is, for those of you who are still on here, I don't know, Danny, if you're using this or Drew or any of you guys, is anybody actually teaching the portal in training? Jason, I know that you're going to go, yes, there are across the country, but I'm just asking the guys here that are actually teaching it in training in any way, shape, or form. Danny, what are you doing? You're shaking your head, yes.
Best thing about the heads up is that if they get 10 messages out, and we're not currently doing it in training, but we did this past summer, if they get those texts out and they don't get to all the calls in the phone jam that night, they already have people have an expectation that they're calling. So that's my favorite thing about that, Jason. With the portal, we have one slide that we show, hey guys, this is a really cool thing. We show people how to go to their portal and we explain it's not to replace demos, but it's just an extra feature. And we did get portal orders just from doing that. That's nothing big in any way, shape, or form. But the biggest plug for the portal is if you actually do mention in training, mention in team meetings, mention it in PCs, if you mention it, you're going to slip and fall in sales. If you start to do better programs with it, you'll get better results. But we just show one slide in training, takes less than 5 minutes. Show people, it takes a minute. And so we don't do anything crazy with it, but people know it's there. So then later on after training,
I got that.
Yep.
Yep.
No, that was great, Danny.
Yep. Cool.
Stacy, the only other thing that we're doing is a thank you text. We're implementing in training and advanced training, talking about it, same as Danny. It's a simple promotion. You have this portal. So if somebody, can't see your presentation, or if they're out of the country for, 6 months, but they want to support you and buy, here's your link to be able to send to them. So it's like the last ditch. If they can't get the demo and it's a legitimate reason, then using this to spur sales. And then Amy does a good job of having her reps link their calendar, because the portal, you can now link your calendar account, and she's having reps send it to customers that are hard to get in touch with to book appointments because they can have their demo spots on there. So that's an implementation for backup. The thing for me that I'm most excited about is a thank you email or text from the rep to the customer after they bought. That way, any customer who purchased always has that rep's link in their email so they can go back to it. We see repeat orders from customers quite a bit just by implementing the thank you email or text.
Can you also use that for the wish list follow-up? It's kind of like, hey, I'm so glad you got your Cutco order, and I know that we were looking at some of those accessories, and maybe as Christmas approaches, I'm going to send you this link, and if you want to order it ahead of time, if you can, or you can always contact me and we can go through it and I'll get it for you. I just think there's something there. So, all right. Well, because I can see somebody like, I was on the fence. I decided to go with the cheaper, choice today. But then I talked to my buddy or my friend who says, this stuff is awesome. You should have gotten it. I'm like, crap. Okay, I'm going to get it. Yeah. I can just go to the portal versus tracking down a rep. I might not actually take that step. I might actually go on the portal. So I don't know. There could be something there. I love the thank you text for sure.
Lloyd, we used to even teach in training that, the reason why you keep the wish list is because you're inevitably going to get referred to their family and friends. And you can say, hey, by the way, the person who referred you, this is the stuff that they wanted, but they didn't get for themselves. Do you want to add that to your, so anyway, just a quick plug.
That's cool. Thank you, Jason. Thank you, everybody. I've got to hop off. I'm late to my next call, but you guys can stay on. Elijah will stay on as long as you guys need, and appreciate everything, guys. We'll see you.
Thank you, Lloyd.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Jason.
Thanks, Jason.
Great seeing everybody. Thank you.
You too.